Hey friends, welcome back to another Slow Flow. This class is going to be slightly different in the way that we are focusing on our nerves and mobilizing them in our body. So we've got nerves throughout our body, and depending on our lifestyle, depending on any injuries that we may have had pressure put on these nerves that can cause them to become agitated, that can cause them to become tight and stuck within their sockets. And so what we're going to be focusing on today is providing some mobilizing movements that allow them to move more freely within their casing. If you've got a pillow nearby, you might like that for the end of your practice, as we will be lying down. We're going to get started in a Vajrasana today, so a kneeling position. So start to close down the eyes and seeing if you can just start to breathe in and out through the nose. And even though this is a more physical practice today, this is still a practice of yoga where we are focusing on paying attention, where we are focusing on being as present as we can within our movements. Perhaps you like to set an intention for your practice today. Maybe that's a sense of curiosity, maybe a sense of ease, a sense of stillness, anything that you feel like you would like to bring into your practice. See if we can let go of any tension that we might be holding in our face. Let go of any tension we may be experiencing in our upper body, softening the shoulders away from the ears. Just taking a moment of pause before we start to move. Let's take about 2 more breaths here, letting go of any distractions where we might be feeling or trying to jump our attention to, letting go of any to-do lists. And then when you're ready, we're going to just crack open the eyelids slightly. Let's find a way into a tabletop position. So hands are going to come underneath the shoulders, knees come underneath the hips. Now, one of the biggest nerves that we have in our body is our spinal cord that runs from the back of the skull all the way down the spine. So we'll just start to move this with our cat and cows. Breathe in and drop the belly, lift the eye gaze, lift the tailbone, and then as you exhale, press away from the ground, draw the belly button towards the spine, arch through the upper back. Just a couple more times in your own breath. Now, the feelings of being tight within the nerves will feel quite, you'll feel quite strong sensation. If it becomes painful at any point, please let this go. We're only trying to just take a mild discomfort feeling. We're not trying to feel into the full sensation here. And if it feels good, maybe we start to move from side to side. In our practice today, we are going to be influencing our movements a lot with our head position, which I'll be cueing as we progress. But yeah, it'll be quite interesting. I'm curious to see how you guys are going to find it. Let's try about 2 more breaths here. And then when you're ready, just take the hands a little bit further forward, spread the fingertips wide, tuck onto the toes and lift the hips up and back. Ardha Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Just take a little pedal out of your feet here, dropping one foot down, dropping the other foot down. Starting to lengthen through the muscles of the back of the leg, so the hamstring, the calf. Feeling the opening through the shoulders and the chest. And then can you find your way into a bit of stillness? So soften the knees, keep pressing the hands through the ground to lift the hips high. We'll find some cat and cows in our Adho Mukha Svanasana. So as you breathe in, can you lift the eye gaze, send the tailbone high. As you exhale, draw the chin towards the chest, knees come towards the chest. A couple more times. So inhaling to open, exhaling to round and close. Protract the shoulder blades away from each other. A couple more times. So it's mostly on our flexion, which is our rounding movement, where our nerves may feel a bit more sensation. Let's try one more breath here. And then find your way back through a neutral stance. Use your next breath in, roll yourself forward. Starting the action from the feet all the way through the hips, through the shoulder. Then as you exhale, start drawing the heels down, bend the knees, lift the tailbone, chest pulls through towards the thighs. A couple more times in your own breath, in your own movement. Finding fluidity within our breath, fluidity within our spine. One more breath. And then when you're ready, use your next breath and roll yourself forward into your plank position. Then lower the knees towards the ground, bend the elbows, squeeze the glutes, lower your chest down as well. Just press up slightly, big breath in, squeeze the glutes, then bring the elbows underneath your shoulders to find a Sphinx pose. So again, we're going to bring some attention to our nerve that runs down our femur. So you can stay here, squeeze the glute. Okay, if this feels comfortable, you can try draw the toes towards the head and then reset. And then we'll try the left toes. If you wanted to add some head movement with this, you can try and tuck the chin in as you pull the foot forward, and then lift the eye gaze as you pull the foot back. We'll just try that a couple more times. And then we can swap out directions. So as the foot comes in, lifting the eye gaze, and then bringing it back down. Let's try it one more time each side. So you might not feel anything here, and that's totally fine. We'll practice it a couple more times. Start to lower your chest towards the ground. Big breath in as you press up onto your knees. As you exhale, tuck onto the toes, lift the hips up, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Start to walk the feet up towards the top of the hands. Find your way into your Uttanasana, your forward fold. Feet are about hip width distance, and then let your upper body hang heavy. Tuck the chin in. This is a really great way to passively lengthen through the spinal cord. Again, big flexion movement. Really great if you've been sitting down quite a bit. Also, the heart is above the head, which technically makes this an inversion, which is really good for bringing oxygen towards the brain. And then see if you can come back through center if you've been wobbling yourself around. We're going to start to lift the inner arches of the feet here. So you might feel quite a strong sensation down the side of the legs, and then lower it back down. Let's try that a couple more times. So maybe inhaling to lift up slightly, exhaling to come down. 2 more times. So opening down the nerves which link by the side of the tibia and the fibula. Bring the hands towards the shins. Breathe in, lift yourself halfway. Exhale, fold yourself forward, Uttanasana. Inhale to rise. Slow roll up through the spine. Squeeze the glutes, lift the arms up and over your head. Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, hands by the sides. We're going to practice with a little bit of nerve flossing through our upper body. Let's extend the right hand out towards the side. I'll just start with the palm down, and then if it feels comfortable, see if you can turn the palm up. Now you might already feel sensation through the forearm here. If you want a little bit more, see if you can turn the head away from the hand. If that feels quite strong, feel free to do that in the other direction. Okay. Can you use your next inhale to drop the hand, revolve your head in the other way. As you exhale, draw the hand back up. A couple more times. So if this feels quite strong for you, you might feel this in your fingers. I personally feel this up through my bicep and through my elbow. Let's try it one more time. Nice. Clasp both hands together at the front. Big breath in, reach the arms forward. As you exhale, can you pull the back of the heart behind you? Reach the hands forward. Press away with the hands. Breathe in, lift the hands high. Exhale, squeeze the glutes open through the chest. Shoulders pull down the spine. We're going to try this on the other side. So left hand extends out this time. Let's draw the fingers up, either drawing the head towards the hand, or if you want a little bit more, you can draw the head away from the hand. So breathe in to release and drop the head to the other side. Exhale, pull away. So again, just coming into these movements with curiosity, with interest, seeing how this feels in your body. Let's try about 2 more breaths here. And if you've been sitting down quite a bit, or you've got, a more relatively sedentary lifestyle, I'm sure this will feel really nice. Let's bring the hands forward in front of our mat. Big breath in. Exhale, pull forward again, round through the upper back. Start to press the palms away. Breathe in, lift through the pinky fingers. Exhale, squeeze the glutes, draw the shoulders down the spine, tuck the ribs in slightly. And before we head down again, we're going to find one more nerve flossing activity. You're going to take your hands into OK hands. I actually don't know what the sign for that is. And then we're going to flip the hands, making a little ima sort of shape. You're pressing your elbows back. So you might feel this quite strongly in your elbow joint. This is our ulnar nerve lighting up. Big breath in, try lift up tall. As you exhale, can you take a little side bend here? Inhale, come back through center. Exhale to the other side. You'll just try this a couple more times. If you're not feeling anything, then maybe you have very mobile nerves. One more time each side. Let's release the hands down. Breathe in, lift up tall. As you exhale, tuck the chin in towards the chest. Then start to curl through the upper back. Let the hands hang down heavy, and find this deep flexion in the spine to allow you to drop yourself down into your forward fold. A little shift from side to side. Then start to press yourself back into your plank position. Both legs step back, lower the knees down, start to lower the hips, then lower the chest. So we're coming back into our Sphinx pose. Elbows can come underneath the shoulders. You could stay here. If you wanted a bit more of a challenge, you could try press through the hands and lift the elbows off. We're going to try find those leg lifts again. So see if you can lift the right toes, maybe draw the head back, and then touch down. Then other side. Just playing with the different head positions, so maybe drawing the chin down as you draw the foot in. Just one more time each side. Make sure to squeeze the glutes here. And then when you're ready, lower yourself down. Let's press up onto the knees. Find yourself into a tabletop position again. Breathe in, drop the belly, lift the eye gaze. Exhale, press away from the ground. 2 more times. Inhale to drop. Exhale to come up. We're going to set the right foot outside the right hand and start to lift yourself up. So we're in a lunge position. So if you can tilt the pelvis forward slightly, so we're finding a posterior tilt. Imagine you're trying to connect your ribs towards your hips. We're going to find a side bend here. So lift the left hand high. As you exhale, take a little side bend here. And what you're going to try to do is shift the hips forward as you do. See if you can draw the chin in towards the chest. And then as you come out, just release slightly. So exhaling to lean forward, draw the chin in, and then inhaling to come back. Let's try that about 3 more times. So we're finding some sliding our nerve mobilization through our femoral nerve, which is in the front of our leg. And then we'll try 3 with the head the other direction. So as we lean forward, maybe you lift the eye gaze and then coming back. Nice. Bring the hands towards the ground, such as shift the hips back. We'll find our Adho Hanumanasana, or our half splits. Maybe you take a little shift forward and back slightly. And again, we'll find those 2 different variations once we're back. So we'll start to point the toes, draw the chin towards the chest. And as you extend the toes back, see if you can lift the eye gaze. Try this a couple more times. So this is more for our sciatic nerve, which is down the back of the legs and runs towards the lower back. And you can imagine the nerves, as we're doing this, just running up and down their sockets or their tubes. All right, and then when you're ready, let's try that the other way. So as you pull the foot back, chin comes in. As you point the toes, can you lift? You might feel this more through the front of the foot as you point. Let's try this about 2 more times. So exhaling to fold forward. Inhaling to lift up. Hi. And then when you're ready, we're going to just shift the weight forward slightly, take the hands outside on the mat, tuck onto the left toes, slide the right knee towards the right wrist, and then drop your hips back. We'll find our way into our pigeon pose. So take a big breath in, try lift up tall, and then as you exhale, see if you can walk yourself forward. So again, this may feel really good if you have some pressure on your sciatic nerve. Maybe the head rests down onto your stacked forearms, onto the wrists. Again, if you feel any sharp sensations, please feel free to reduce. In fact, I would highly encourage it. Let's take about maybe 3 more breaths here. And if it feels good, just rocking from side to side with the hip bones. And then when you're ready, just press through the hands. Walk your right knee back. And we'll try this all on the other side. So start by taking the left foot towards the outside of the left hand. Start to lift yourself up. So we're in a lunge position. Again, find that pelvic tilt, drawing the hip bone towards the ribs. And then maybe you start to lift the right hand as well. But breathing in to lift. As you exhale, maybe a little side bend. As you shift the hips forward, start by curling the chin towards the chest slightly. And then inhaling to come back. We'll just try that a couple more times. So the further you curl down with the chin, the more deep you might feel this within your hip flexor. So this is a really great release down the front of the leg. Let's try about 2 more breaths here. And then we'll try that again, but this time as we lean forward, see if you can lift your eye gaze. Again, if you're feeling quite good here, see if you can go a little bit deeper while keeping that pelvic tilt and the squeeze of the glutes. And then when you're ready, just bring the hands towards the ground. We'll find our Ardha Hanumanasana, a little shift forward and back. Just opening through the muscle first, and then when we're ready, just stay back in whatever position feels comfortable. And you start by pointing the toe, tucking the chin in, and then extending the toe up, lifting the eye gaze, tipping the pelvis forward. Try that a couple more times. So exhaling to fold, inhaling to come up. And then when you're ready, we'll just swap to the other side. So when we lean forward, just drawing the toes back, and then inhaling, pointing the toes, lifting the eye gaze. Exhaling to fold. Inhaling to lift. Let's try one more breath here. Nice. And then find your way back through center. Let's start to walk the left foot over towards the right side of the mat. Left knee comes wide, pigeon pose. Try to shift the right hip towards the left foot. See if you can walk yourself forward, maybe coming down to elbows. Maybe resting the forehead down on stacked hands or stacked wrists. So our sciatic nerve, just a reminder, it actually starts towards the lower of the back, then it wraps through the pelvis, around the piriformis, which is a really small muscle that is responsible for quite a bit of our hip rotation, and then it extends down the back of the leg, and it can feel quite painful as if the nerve gets quite tight. So these movements will help to provide some fluidity, ease of motion. One more breath here. And then when you're ready, just starting to walk your hands back. We'll find our way onto our sit bones, so swing your legs around. And then when you're ready, just roll yourself down your spine. Great time to use your pillow if you would like, just to prop yourself up on. No worries if not, it's all good. Just kind of gives a little bit more support here. And we'll just start by bending the right knee. We'll be taking the back of the right thigh. And the first exercise that we'll do is just extending the right leg up and then back. And if you're quite flexible, you might be able to extend the leg up a little bit more. Try to get the foot pointed to begin with. Try not to hyperextend the knee, so just keep a soft bend of the leg. And then if it feels good, see if you can flex the foot and extend up. So this might feel a little bit more challenging. Now if you can get into your top range pretty easily, maybe you hold there and just play with pointing, then flexing the foot. Again, if that feels quite easeful, maybe you tuck the chin in and try lift the chest up as well, and that might feel a little bit more sensation. So on the exhale, lifting up, and then inhaling, pointing and lowering the head. So a few different options for where you might like to take it today. And then when you're ready, let's just bend the right knee, maybe extend the left leg out. Let's just twist towards the left, extend the right knee towards the left, and then come back through center. So breathing in to come back, exhaling to twist. Inhaling to come back, exhale to twist. So starting to mobilize through the spine a little bit more, bringing some rotation to our thoracic and a little bit of our lumbar spine. And then when you're ready, let's just hold back in our twist. Okay, you can absolutely stay here if you wanted more of a passive stretch. If you wanted to try a bit of nerve flossing, see if you can extend the leg out long. You can always support the left hand underneath the calf, or put the foot next to a wall, and then see if you can flex the foot and then point the foot, flex the foot and then point the foot. Now, one other option, if you would like to try fire the nerve down the side of the leg, is to draw the inner arch of the foot down and the outer arch away, so you're kind of making a crooked foot, and it's the same thing. So pointing and then flexing. And one final option, if you wanted a little bit of a challenge, as you exhale and flex the foot, maybe you lift the chest up and then inhale to reset. Exhale to lift and flex. Exhale to point of reset. Try that one more time. Nice, come back through center. We'll swap this all out on the other side. Start by bending the left leg, maybe taking the hand around the thighs. So just pointing the foot and just up and down with the leg. If you practice yoga quite regularly, the asana practice, then your nerves might feel quite fluid already, and you may not have many challenges with this practice, but it's definitely beneficial to practice either way. Then maybe you start to flex the foot. So when you flex the foot, the nerves are pulled up a little bit more and bring some more tension into the nerves. So you might feel it a little bit more this way. And again, if you don't feel it, maybe you hold up, flex the foot and lift the chest up. Inhale, point and lower. Exhale to lift. Inhale to lower. One final option is again to find that crooked foot by pulling the inner arch of the foot down. And it's the same thing. Maybe you exhale to flex and lift. Inhale to release and point. Exhale to lift. Let's try this one more time. And then when you're ready, we'll just bend the left leg, drape the left knee over towards the right, find a twist on your exhale. And as you inhale, coming back through center, just try that 4 more times. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. See if you can keep the left shoulder on the ground. Exhale. Inhale. Last time. This time as we exhale, can you hold here? You can absolutely stay here if you want a little bit more. See if you can extend the left leg out. You can always support the right hand underneath or over the top of the leg. If you want to try some nerve flossing, see if you can point and then flex the foot again. 1 breath per movement. If you wanted a challenge, you can exhale, lift the chest as you lift, as you flex the foot. Inhale as you point and lower down. We'll try this about 4 more times. And then when you're ready, just coming back through center. We'll just rest for a minute or so in a Savasana. So maybe just closing down the eyes. Connecting with your body. Perhaps reflecting on the practice that's been and your intention that you set at the beginning of class. Seeing if that was threaded through, or if you may like to take this intention out into the rest of the day, or perhaps a new one. When you're ready, we'll just find our way back into a seat. So maybe grabbing the backs of the legs, rolling yourself up, sitting up tall, just feeling all the space that you may have created in your body and your not your nervous system, but your well, it is your nervous system, different aspect of it. I thank you so much for practicing with me today. I hope you enjoyed it. It was a little bit different, a little bit interesting, and perhaps you can take some of those exercises out into the rest of your day if you found them beneficial. I thank you again. I hope to see you again sometime soon. Namaste.